again. I had some issues with yesterday's little visit. The camera was placed in the wrong corner or whatever, slanted the wrong way, or was too far away or whatever. So anyway, I decided I would do another one. I normally don't do videos this quickly, but whatever. I'm here anyway. Hope you're all doing well. And this is what fell down in yesterday's. I think I got that position right there now. This is what fell down in yesterday's video. Little puppets. Actually, it doesn't look very heavy, does it? But actually, the backing on it is. See that? So it does make a sound when it falls. A little bell on it. There was a battery, but I don't keep the battery in it when it's stored. So, and I didn't put one in yesterday. I used it for several Halloween parties I had here in my home, so they were fantastic. So a lot of stuff here came from Halloween parties, came from kids and grandkids and all that, and it was a lot of fun. So this little friendly looking little pumpkin is shrouded here by his orange swingy little gown. That's what fell down. Maybe he just wanted to have a little bit more publicity, I don't know. Maybe he figured if he fell down he might get another video. Which is what's happening. Anyway, yes, well, you know, we talked about Christ's apparitions and that yesterday, which are discussed, and stories from are in both my volumes of True Ghost Stories. Oh, my name is Geraldine Ryan Lush. I seem to have a real affinity for forgetting to say who I am. Geraldine Ryan Lush. And I read books. So, anyways, what I discussed yesterday about the crisis apparitions, there's lots of them in these two books. Haunted Towns, Ghost Stories, Newfoundland, Labrador, Volume 1. Haunted Towns, Ghost Stories in Newfoundland and Labrador, Volume 2. And we did go into, you know, some of the more attributable stories of crisis apparitions that were contained in both these books. Now, the most, I was rereading the story this morning of my father, from the story, the Strange Premonition of Elizabeth Ryan. And this was related to when my father was in the horrendous Knights of Columbus fire of 1942. And miraculously he survived. And the whole story of him, his life and his heroism, because he was a hero in that fire, in St. John's, Newfoundland in 1942, is done in detail by my son, Shannon Marshall Lush. Actually, I should have put the book there that he wrote. But anyway, it's always something I forget. Sometimes when I do these videos, I don't have it all. I don't have anything planned what to say. Just, you know, it's kind of off the cuff, and I don't have a speech written down or anything like that, or even notes most of the time. So, hence I forgot the book that, you know, I should have included when I was talking about that story I'm talking about now. So, the full experience, like I go into it a lot in this book, in that particular story, The Strange Premonition of Elizabeth Ryan. But my son, Shannon, who adored his grandfather, who was my grandfather, Gabriel Ryan, who's focused on a nice bit in this book, actually. The whole book, the whole story of his life, and the part he played in that fire, the Knights of Columbus fire in 1942, which was one of the greatest tragedies in Newfoundland, actually. And during World War II, at a dance and so on at a hostel, and his whole story, Shannon did an amazing job of it, I have to say, and it actually won a Canada Book Award. So I'm very, very proud of my son Shannon for that. And he's an author and a poet, and he's very, very modest. Shannon is very modest about his accomplishments. But I will, in the future, I will tell a little bit more about him. And he doesn't say much about his own writing or what he's done or, the success he's had, because he wrote the book for his beloved grandfather. And he wrote it as a tribute to him. So in so doing, he created an amazing work. And if you want to go on Amazon, you can certainly find it on Amazon. And it has amazing, amazing reviews. And I say to Shannon sometimes, you really should, at certain times of the year, especially Remembrance Day for the military and so on, you should definitely talk about your book about Dad, about his grandfather. He says, no. He says, I wrote that book out of love for my grandfather, for Poppy Ryan, and I don't want to, to exploit my grandfather and to make money. And it is true. He never ever wanted to make money from that book. He wrote it out of pure love because he adored him, and he spent time with him in his later years. So, anyways, I wrote the story of the actual fire and the actual part that my grandmother, Dad's mother, Shannon's great-grandmother, played in that horrendous night where she was home they lived in a rural area. Excuse me, I grew up in the same area, actually. And they lived in a rural area and a nice ways from the capital city. And she was just sitting there one Saturday night, listening to the radio in 1942, and the radio went dead. And it goes from there, what happened to her, and how she just knew that something had happened to my father and his brother Larry. They were both there at the dance that night. So it's contained in this book. It's called A Strange Premonition of Elizabeth Ryan. It's one of the longer stories in this book, actually. So, anyway, I should have got a glass of water before I sat down. Excuse me. So, it's one of the main stories in the book, so I thought I would go into more detail about it, seeing I did talk about crisis apparitions, and I did cite some examples of crisis apparitions from both these books. That was one of the longer ones, and one of the more gripping stories, possibly because, well, they were all true, but they were quite gripping and quite, they really make you wonder, and they're really interesting. So I thought I would give you a bit of background about what happened to my father that night, and my grandmother's, Elizabeth Ryan's, part in probably saving his life in a kind of an out-of-world kind of way. So I'll leave you to, if you want to read it, it's available everywhere. So I'll leave you to find out the rest of the story. Now, people have asked me why I like ghost stories and why I write ghost stories and so on. I'm not alone in being a creative person who, in history, who wrote books, was an author, and delved into the paranormal and the mysterious and the other world and so on. Look at W.B. Yeats. I could list all kinds of works that he did. In fact, I had them listed at the end of my book because I actually read some of his material, And in my academic research for this, and there is academic research went into both my collections of ghost stories. All these stories that were collected here are augmented by scholarly research to prove certain facts about them and so on. And I did a lot of reading and research. I always do, because I am, I find it fascinating that particular subject, and I do research my material a lot before I actually do the stories. After I collect them and I have them put together and so on, I do a lot of research. So it adds flesh to the stories. It adds authenticity to a lot of the elements in the stories for historical purposes. So I just don't sit down and whip off. Somebody told me this. No, I do it in a better, more scholarly view than that. But they're also very interesting, and they have an entertaining quality. I mean, they've proven that for sure, and they're among collections in the libraries and the university libraries for actually research on the paranormal and the paranormal in Newfoundland and the folklore connected with Newfoundland, because we are very highly Celtic Irish heritage here, and we're 500 years old, and there's a lot of history and heritage. So an awful lot of things happened over the centuries, and that subject is highly collected in our local libraries, in our national libraries and universities, and anything to do with that subject of paranormal in Newfoundland and Labrador is a highly interesting topic, and it piques people's interest. So I just wanted to throw that out there this morning to maybe add a bit more perspective to why I'm fascinated. It's not just the fact that, which plays a part though, I have to say, the fact that I grew up in this actually it was no more than the village when I was growing up, because there were no paved roads. We didn't have electricity till I was 10 years old, things like this. And this was 1960 when we had electricity, so because the communities unfortunately weren't as modern as other areas in Newfoundland, so we didn't get electricity till late. So yes, that definitely played a part, and I certainly talk about that and go down memory lane and cite all my influences and so on, and any kind of newspaper articles that were done about me, interviews on in print or radio or television. I always certainly go down that road. My influence has really influenced me, or my growing up years. But they're not done just from, I remember this, blah, 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 and just get it out there. No, I put a lot more work into my paranormal works than that. I was never casual about my writing. I take it very, very seriously. I always have, and I'm not. If I'm not satisfied, I'll keep at it until I get it right. And a component of being a professional is, you work at it, and you know what you have to do. You know you got to get the right product out there. And when I'm reading other people's work, I like to see a job well done. I don't like to see sloppy work, lazy work. Somebody putting out something because it's popular now. It's the trend now. Let's get it out there. Just in the can, put in the can, and just get out as fast as you can. No, that's not me. I like to do a good job, and if I'm not satisfied with that book as a good job, it doesn't go out there. I don't care how popular the topic is or anything else. So, anyways. Yes, I certainly do refer to Mr. Yeats, our famous Irish poet, W.B. Yeats, and he was heavily into the paranormal, I can tell you that. He was really into it, and all his life, and he wrote a lot of materials, and I certainly refer to him in my credits in the back, because I read his material, or a lot of it. you know, the Celtic Twilight and a treasury of Irish myth, legend and folklore, and books like that certainly gave me some perspective along with others, and in helping me fashion my collections of Newfoundland and Labrador ghost stories, both traditional and modern. So anyway, I'm a little bit more. Yesterday was kind of, I don't know. It was kind of you know. I was very busy, and I'm not apologizing or anything like that, because you know, every video is always something to be had from it, and I did go through a good many of the crisis apparition stories in the books, but you know, I guess I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I wasn't satisfied with it, so I had to come back on, and I said, no, I got to do better than that. So here I am this morning. And as well, you know, I had a little bit of a layer here that I'd set up, and you couldn't see it because the camera was too far away, or was too close rather. So I wanted to, you know, like my little bit of decor I got here. I know it's just things from years ago and stuff, but it's fun, and it's nice to have a little bit of atmosphere for sure. So this is part of an interview that was done a couple of years ago, 20 questions in the Newfoundland Labrador Evening Telegram. This is only half, but it's just, this doesn't, the other part is in another frame, another part of the house. But they're all up on the wall, and they're all there. I just took them off the wall this morning, and just a couple, I couldn't bring them all out here, but the thing is, I do have an office. I do have an office. Like, I know you wonder, why is she always there, like in that same spot all the time? To be honest, I come here because I like the lighting here. Lighting is very difficult to get it right, and I like the lighting here. But I do plan on using my office for more videos, etc. in the future. When I get it the way I want it, that is. It's still not the way I want it. Just you know, I have things stored in there, and I just want it the way I want it. So when I do, I was going to use it more as a kind of a, I guess you could say, a studio. But to tell you the truth, I never wrote in a studio. That never mattered to me. I just wrote. You know, I can sit down in my recliner chair in front of the TV in the living room and write a book. That's the way it is. Like I said before, don't ever think you have to wait for a, you know, highfalutin studio to be creative, because you can be creative anywhere, and I always was. So this is just part of a long interview that was done a couple of years ago after I won 4 Canada Book Awards, and this is another one here that was done. Okay. Yeah, that was another interview in another newspaper here. The Pearl. Another newspaper here, Mount Pearl, that talked about my 4 Canada Book Awards and my career down the road and so on. You know, how many books I've written and had published, and so I have it all. There's all kinds of framed review, or you know, articles about me, interviews, etc. in my office, and when I get it the way I want it, I'll show it to you. But I did a couple of videos in there last year, actually, you know, but it wasn't. I had just finished framing some things from my scrapbooks, and I put them all up on the wall. But I'm still not satisfied with, you know, with. I like it. It's great to see that all these are framed and on the wall. But as for doing YouTube videos there, I'm still kind of, I think I'll wait a while. And I have like scrapbooks like that thick, you know, my writing career over, I guess maybe 25 years now. So I've written, I'm waiting for my 19th book to come out, a book of poetry called Greenwood Fires. And I'm all fired up about that. So, you know, that's that's a kind of a, it's an elegiac work, and it's a memoir, partly memoir in free verse. So I'm excited about it. So anyways, thank you for checking me out again today. I don't ask for subscribers because I'm not on here for subscribers. Believe it or not, I'm not. I'm on YouTube for exposure. I want people to see who I am, to get an idea of my work, and hopefully to gain something from my work and what I say here about my work. So those are the main reasons I'm on YouTube. I'm not on here to hit up everybody, oh, please subscribe, please subscribe, please subscribe, because I am on YouTube for the same reason I'm on other forms of social media for you know, to be known. And sure, I was always known. I've done amazingly well with my books. But you know, you have to keep yourself out there, and I enjoy it too. I enjoy you know, I enjoy coming on and telling people about my latest project, and sometimes I'll have a little bit of fun with everything, you know, and we'll talk about other things, and sometimes I'll be really serious and and talk about the process of writing and things like that. Yeah, I've written in all categories and genres. I've written picture books, running picture books, chapter books, novels, all different kinds of novels. You know, adult novels, young adult novels, and poetry, adult collections of poetry too. So, and you know, I've been a teacher. I was a teacher. I have a university degree. I have two amazingly beautiful sons who have families of their own, and I have a wonderful partner. One of these days I will bring him on. So that's a little bit about my personal life. Anyways, thank you so much for, I mentioned, yes, my credentials and my awards, my second children's book. I started off reading children's books. My very first children's book was Jeremy Jacobs Hates Freckles. That got listed in what was it, the Crayon Animation in Montreal somewhere, listed it somewhere, and it got some kind of a big notice anyway. It's that long ago now that I would have to look it up to tell you the truth in my scrapbook. And I think it was also considered for, it's one of the prestigious awards in Toronto at the time. So my second book, Hairs on Bears, was actually based on our own dog, and it's about a dog. It's a rhyming story about a dog, about cleaning your dog, how important it is to keep your dog clean and brush him and all that. And it's really, really, really came from my own life, I have to say. That's one book that was taken from my own life when I was raising my boys. So that actually was published by Enoch Press in Toronto, Ontario, which is a publisher of Robert Munch books. So that was in French translation. It went on to be entered on the American Booksellers peak of the lists. It was among the best books of School Library Journal and best books of the year. And then I had a Merit Magazine award for it, an Alcuin Society Design Award for it. Then the rest of my awards for my other books. My Malcolm series was really, really popular. Little mini videos from all these books are on YouTube. They're all there. Just check them all out. They're all there. I made a video of every one of these books when the pandemic started. So I talk a lot about these books, and if you want to check out my videos concerning these books, they're all on YouTube under either Deanie Dishes or Geraldine Ryan Lush, or, you know, like, they're all, you see them all anyway. So I was awarded Canada Council grant to further the Malcolm series, and got a young boy, maybe 10 years old. And they were into diary form, and they were really, really, like, they really took off. So, and then I won for my 4 titles over the last number of years. I won the Candy Book Award for The Gravel Pit Kids, which is a young adult novel. The Seashell's Lament, which is an adult love story. Well, you wouldn't call it a Harlequin romance or anything like that. It's more on a higher level than that. It won a Candy Book Award. And my rhyming story, Goodbye Wart, and my rhyming story, Mumps Mania. A runaway virus tale. It's only early here, and I haven't had enough coffee or anything in me yet this morning, so that's why my throat is the way it is. Anyway, I'm going to sign off, and next time I'll make sure I have a glass of water in front of me if I'm doing a video this hour in the morning. So, thank you for tuning in and viewing me, and I hope to see you again soon. Christmas not that far off, and I absolutely love Christmas too. I love getting ready for it, and I love the whole aspect of Christmas. So, thank you so much, and happy fall. Bye bye.